Alliant Energy will study how solar energy can be used in cold weather climates like Wisconsin, plus why the Amish community will be allowed to ignore a part of the state's building code. We'll have all that and much more. Keep watching. Your real estate news starts now. Thank you for watching the Real Estate News. I'm your host, Stacy Hansen. Let's take a look at your headlines. Alliant Energy has begun construction on a new solar energy technology project outside its Madison headquarters. The company intends to study how solar energy works in a cold weather climate like ours. The $5 million first phase of the project includes ground-level solar panels, 13 electric vehicle charging stations, and solar parking canopies covering nearly 50 parking spaces. Plans also include solar cafe tables and a battery energy storage system. Madison.com reports that Alliant Energy plans to use 11 different types of solar panels from multiple manufacturers, with more than 1,000 panels installed in all. Phase 1 is expected to be completed by the end of this year. A second phase for the project is expected to begin next year. Phase 2 will add more solar panels as well as a solar-powered bus stop shelter equipped with phone charging ports for passengers. NationStar Mortgage will provide up to $30 million to financially troubled Milwaukee residents under a partnership agreement announced by city officials. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett said assistance will be provided through a combination of NationStar and City of Milwaukee programs. The intent of the agreement is to help residents keep and repair their homes. According to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, NationStar will provide up to $30 million in mortgage modifications for its customers in Milwaukee over the next 3 years. It will also provide a $500,000 cash commitment over 3 years, which the city will use to support critical home repairs through the Strong Homes Loan Program. The majority owner of Fortress Group Investments, which owns NationStar, is co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. New state waivers in Wisconsin will allow the Amish community to ignore a part of the state's building code. The religious waiver forms have been distributed to every county in Wisconsin and are expected to resolve a dispute between Eau Claire County and its Amish community. The waiver forms are the end result of an amendment to the state budget that passed this summer. According to the Eau Claire Leader-Telegram, it allows for exemptions to the electrical and plumbing requirements in Wisconsin's Uniform Dwelling Code to those residents who cannot follow them due to religious reasons. This means that Amish residents will now be able to claim an exemption from installing smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in their homes. Some Amish families say that having computerized items like these in their homes is prohibited by religious tenets. State Representative Kathy Bernier introduced the amendment in response to several cases in which Eau Claire County was pursuing enforcement action against Amish families for non-compliance with the code. The state of Wisconsin has about 17,000 Amish residents. J.H. Findorf and Son is celebrating 125 years of construction in Madison this year. In its interview with its president, Dave Beck-Engel, this month, Madison Magazine reports that the builder has created some of the city's most iconic buildings. After founding the company in 1890, John Findorf worked on the Red Gym on the UW-Madison campus and the south wing of the State Capitol building, even helping to place the Miss Forward statue on top of the Capitol dome. More recently, they have been involved in such notable projects as the Monona Terrace, the Overture Center, and the American Family Children's Hospital. Today, the company employs more than 700 people between the corporate office in Madison and a second office in downtown Milwaukee. Per Beck-Engel, the company takes pride in being an industry leader in advanced technology. The builder recently installed the first bubble deck in the U.S. at the Laban Arena project at UW-Madison as an alternative design for concrete floor slabs. Google's new project Sunroof aims to help homeowners calculate their roof's solar potential. The tool uses Google Earth data to calculate usable sunlight per year and then provides an energy savings estimate. A user can enter a location address and Project Sunroof will calculate the number of hours of usable sunlight per year based on local weather patterns. It also uses 3D modeling of the roof and nearby trees to determine the total square feet available for solar panels. Project Sunroof then uses current solar industry pricing data to calculate estimated costs for leasing or buying solar panels for your house. There's also an option to contact solar providers in your service area for installation or for more information. The tool is currently available in Boston, the San Francisco Bay Area, and in Central California. Stick around, we'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Dan Chin. He's the president of Dan Chin Homes, a Keller Williams company. Welcome, Dan. So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, how do real estate agents differ as far as their experience?
Well, you know, it's a really interesting industry. You know, you'd be surprised, it only costs $350 to get your real estate license. So we have a lot of people who are working full-time jobs and then think this can be a part-time job. And often what I see is people don't even interview agents to find out what their experience is.
People just assume right off the bat that they're going to have a lot of experience.
Exactly. And when we look at a recent study from the National Association of Realtors, the number one thing people want is someone that they can trust. And number two is someone who's going to be able to price a home right. And you need someone with an experienced background to be able to do that for you.
So how many agents do you recommend that people look at in this process?
I always recommend at least two, sometimes three. But you'll see there's a big difference in what people do in the background, as well as their experience, how many homes they sell, how fast they sell them. You'll learn a lot in that first meeting.
So those are some good things to ask them that you might not have thought about. Anything else that you would recommend asking them about?
Yeah. You know, how long have they been doing it? How many homes do they sell a year? Do they do it full time? What are the different things that they do to market the home? Because a lot of agents in our MLS, because we have such a popular area, you can just put it on the MLS. If it's sort of priced right, it'll eventually sell. However, in order to sell homes as fast as we do, in less than 2 weeks, you need to have someone that's being very aggressive with your marketing.
So what kinds of things do you do for marketing that other people might not?
We're actually getting into a lot of online behavioral analytics. So we're able to determine who is about to buy a home before they really even know it sometimes. And then we're then getting our listings in front of those people, and they're looking at them, they're going to the open houses, and we're just selling them that much faster as a result.
Wow, what kinds of people are, what's the profile for the buyer out there right now?
Well, everyone's different, but in our area, we actually have a pretty high average price point. You know, it's in the low 200s. So the middle class, single family home, a lot of families, and in our area, school district really drives values.
Oh, makes sense, sure. Now, what reasons do people give for being satisfied or maybe not satisfied with their agent? Some things that people should look out for.
That's a great question, Stacy. You know, a lot of people call me after their first agent failed, and I hear the same thing over and over again. First, they weren't happy that their former agent didn't market their property aggressively. And second, they never heard from their agent. So communication is important. Our sellers hear from us every week, and I know there's a lot of top agents in our area that do that very same thing.
Wow. Now, if somebody is interested in becoming an agent themselves, we talked about that the fee isn't too high. What kind of education is really required for this?
Well, the education's pretty simple. It takes about a month through our WRA to take a course to learn how to use the contracts. Beyond that, brokers like Keller Williams and some of the other local brokers provide a lot of education on marketing so that you can best service your sellers and buyers. And so just contacting your local broker, they can get you started.
Sounds great. Well, thanks so much, Dan. I'd like to have you stop by today.
Thank you.
And you stay tuned. We'll have more right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Ayman Abuzet. He's the branch manager and loan officer at Atlanta Mortgage. Welcome, Ayman. So nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Now, with all the changes over the last 7 years, how hard is it to qualify for a loan today?
Well, that's a great question. I tell you, getting a mortgage is not as difficult as it sounds, but you do have to have pretty good credit. You got to have verifiable income, and then you do have to, in some cases, have a down payment. Zero down payment programs are available, but every single program does have its different guidelines.
So you don't necessarily have to have that 20% down and excellent credit to qualify today?
No, not at all. That is a big myth in the industry. Having excellent credit is always a plus, and having 20% down is definitely a great start when buying a home, but those are definitely not needed. I put people in homes with average credit and no down payment a lot.
So if somebody out there wants to see if they can own a home, how do they start the process?
The great place to start is, I call it a preliminary application. And the application just gives us a blueprint or a foundation to build upon. It tells us where you're at today in regards to your debt to income ratio, your job, your income, down payment, all the things that are needed that are building blocks to put a mortgage forward.
What kind of debt income ratio do you typically look for in that?
That's a great question again. You want to keep about, the guidelines say 45% of your gross monthly income. I think that's a little too high. To live comfortably, you probably want to have your housing payment and all other minimum payments be about 35 to 40% of your gross monthly income. There are some tolerances with different programs as well.
Probably good to be conservative there, you're right. So why use a realtor when buying or selling then? Because there are some fees involved with that.
There are some fees, primarily when selling. When buying, you get the expertise of a real estate agent on your side to look over the paperwork, work on your behalf. It's called a buyer's agent, and that's something that's really recommended. It's kind of your person to bounce things off of and protect you through the transaction. Also write the offer, structure the offer, and make sure everything is working as possible, as best in your favor when it comes to that closing table. This is a pretty huge purchase. You want to have professionals on your side. Do-it-yourselfers, they can do it, but I'll tell you, there are pitfalls that people are not aware of, and that's where a real estate agent can really come in and help you.
So what mortgage programs do you have available now for buyers?
Well, there's a lot. For our veterans, we have VA mortgages, which are 100% financing, that's zero money down. You have your conventional Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac financing. That is as little as 3% down. And then you have your FHA financing, which will help you in your credit challenge people, maybe people that have gone through the recent economic downturn with a bankruptcy or prior foreclosure. FHA might be a solution for them. And then a great Wisconsin-based program is WHEDA, Wisconsin Housing Economic Development Authority. That can also be 100% financing, and it's really geared towards first-time home buyers.
So how long does it take to close on the home then?
Start to finish, we like to have at least 30 days. There are some upcoming changes here in October that are going to be taking place, and we're now going to be having our offers written for about 45 days. But, as of right now, 30 days. After October, 45 days to be safe.
All right, well, thanks so much for stopping by today, Iman. It was very informative.
Thank you very much for having me.
And you stay tuned. We'll have more right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Kirsten Goggin. She's a broker and realtor at Century 21 Affiliated. Welcome back.
Hey, Stace. Thank you, Stacy. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, great. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, last time you said there's a shortage of listings. Is that still holding true?
It is. It's only been, like a week, maybe two, but, things are just, it is not slowing down out there. We had a little bit of a dip over the 4th of July holiday, which is pretty common, most holidays, but then it's picked right back up again. So of the listings that I shared last week, 2 are currently being negotiated, 1's gone. I had a new listing that really isn't gone already. So yes, I want to sell your house and buyers want to buy your house. So yes, absolutely the trend is continuing.
That's great. Now you offer a home validation market analysis. What would a homeowner expect when they meet with you for that?
Sure. Well, some folks are just kind of kicking around the idea. Maybe it's a good time to sell and they feel like they need to get their house perfect or ready before they call me or meet with me, or maybe I don't want to take that step yet because they feel like some sort of obligation to then list or have to tell me no. But that's not the point of having me come out. When I come out to meet with you, it's really just to meet you and understand what your real estate needs and goals are, and whether I can help right now or whether it's a year or 2 from now. That's all great. The information that I can provide you, such as fair market value, also estimated days on market, I can really help you figure out, at least in this current market, how much you'd be getting back and putting towards your next house or whatever you're going to do with that money. And then with that information, it's pieces of the puzzle for you that you can put together to help decide, is this a good time to list or do I need to wait? What things do I need to do with my home to prepare it, or is it ready to go now? So really it's just about advising you, and it's, of course, if you want to list, I'm all for it and I'll be prepared for that, but it's certainly not an expectation of mine after I meet with you. If you're ready, great, and if not, then I will continue to advise you until the time is right.
So now, apart from all of this, what else sets you apart from other agents?
Sure. Well, I don't just tell and sell. My goal is not to just get you signed, get it sold, handle the details, which is of course all part of of the job, but I believe my job goes far beyond that. I want to be your fiduciary. I want to be your trusted real estate advisor. So my job isn't to just listen to your needs, it's to anticipate your needs. It's to get that wider picture of what is going to be the best for you with certain offers or certain homes that you're looking at as you go forward. Instead of delivering information, I want to consult with you and help you kind of think through. And it's very emotional. It's a business transaction, but it's also highly emotional because it's a lot of money and it's also your home. So sometimes you need someone to kind of not be in that moment with you to kind of help you think of all the different angles and what is going to be the best offer to take or the best way to respond. All that. So it's much more encompassing than just getting one deal and it's done. I want to be your trusted real estate advisor for life if you stay in the area.
Now let's talk about selling flat fee. A good idea, not a good idea?
Well, you know, I certainly won't knock it. There's some people that they're either somehow in the business or they've done a lot of transactions and they just feel that that's the right move for them, and who wouldn't like to save 3% and put it in your pocket. But the thing that you need to really think about is, it seems attractive, but you get what you pay for often. Who's going to be doing the paperwork? Who's going to advise you on pricing? Are the pictures, yes, they'll take pictures and put it online, but are they going to be the same quality as like I provide professional photos, for example. So I'm not saying it's a bad idea. For some people it works great, and before I became an agent, I bought my first place FSBO and I sold it flat fee MLS. So
Really?
It certainly has its place for certain folks, but you need to be educated about what you're getting and what you're not getting with that. Essentially, if you think about it, let's say, for example, commission is 6%. And usually 3% that goes to whoever brings the buyer, 3% goes to whoever is listing and marketing your property. If you cut out the listing and marketing side, you're essentially paying a professional to negotiate against you because they're working for your buyers. Not even to mention, who's going to be guiding you through everything, and is it being properly marketed? Is it enhanced on Zillow and Trulia? So things to consider.
So what do you recommend that sellers do then to prepare their home for future sale?
Sure. Well, I think that the first thing, there's lots of information on my website. So if you contact me through there, I've got all kinds of video tutorials and checklists, things of that nature, staging, although I can certainly, once we're to that point and you're going to be listing, I personally walk through the house with you and work on maybe rearranging some things or staging. But there's a lot, there's a lot to kind of prepare. So lots of information there. And of course, have me out, because before you do a lot of pricey items, you want to make sure that you're going to get your money back out of it once you sell, and that's where I come in. So put your money here, don't put it here. What's going to help sell your house with minimal investment on your part?
Well, thanks so much for stopping by again today. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
And stay tuned, we'll have more after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Ben Obliziak. He's a realtor with Mary Schultz's team at Century 21 Affiliated. Welcome, Ben. So nice to have you here.
Thank you, Stacey.
So tell us about what you and Mary have come across in this year's market.
It's been an incredible market, actually. The building is up. The buyer demand is definitely there. Interest rates remain low. I guess our biggest challenge has just been a shortage on the inventory that's out there.
So now with this school year starting, what would you say to people that are considering selling this fall?
It's a great time. Honestly, I even waiting, just try and avoid it if you can. Like I said, there's a lack of inventory out there, so the demand is definitely there. It's pulling the pricing up, or at least closer to list price, and really just a great time to sell.
So really not too great of a time to buy though, huh?
Honestly, with the interest rates remaining so low, it almost seems like the perfect time to buy and sell, and very rarely do you have that. Usually it's either kind of a seller's market or a buyer's market, and while sellers are getting closer to their list prices, it's certainly buyers are getting great interest rates, so keeping those payments down.
Well, that's good news all around then. Now, what if somebody's waiting until spring to sell? What would you say to those people?
Why wait? If you're in a position to not wait, definitely don't. it is the time right now with those interest rates remaining low. We certainly don't know what the spring will bring as far as that goes. And if those interest rates do go up, certainly that can affect pricing. And right now those sellers are getting top prices for their house. Certainly there's sellers out there that are in situations that can't be controlled. Maybe they're relocating in the spring. But that spring market will come a lot faster than you think. This year's spring market actually started in February, and we had a shortage of listings by, I'd say, at the end of March, beginning of April.
Wow, wow. So now we talked about the interest rates being pretty low. What about if a buyer is still trying to save some more money on purchasing a home? Any advice for them?
You know, it's understandable. I guess first and foremost, be careful and really know the numbers. The biggest thing, let's just take for instance, if in the next 6 months they wanted to save $5,000 for that extra down payment money. If that interest rate goes up even just 0.25%, that $5,000 will be wiped out in their payments. So you really got to know the numbers and make the decision from there on what works best for you and your family.
So what do you predict for spring 2016's market then? Do you think there's going to continue to be a shortage like last year?
You know, that's the old crystal ball question, and certainly we don't have a crystal ball, and if we did, that would be great. It'd make our job a lot easier. But we just don't know, and that's why I guess there's such a big push for more inventory now. And for those that are going to wait until the spring, get started now. Certainly look at those projects around the house that you got to do, get those done, and be ready to go in February, because it's quite possible that we'll see that happen again here. And if we're short on inventory now, there's a chance that we could still be short in the spring too. So just start getting those projects done early.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Ben, for stopping by. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And you stay tuned. We'll have more right after this. From all of us here, I want to thank our guests for stopping by and all of you for tuning in to your real estate news. I'm Stacy Hansen. We'll see you next time.